Hey everyone, welcome back to the next video in the tutorial on scriptable objects and the inspector with the serialization and deserialization of inherited classes. So last time we finished up all the portions of adding the GUI and everything in our editor script, our quest log editor, and we got everything set up to where we can go in and we can add quests and it'll pop up and we can add them as child objects. You can modify data and everything and you can delete it. Well, what I was trying to explain in the last video is what I'm going to go and do in this one. So, usually when Unity serializes out an object, you can go inside of here and do whatever you want to do. Don't need this right now. Delete that. So, you go like at your main camera, for instance. You can go in here, play mode. Okay, you can change the camera, the clear flags from a skybox to let's say a solid color. See how the background changes? If I come in here and I exit play mode, that goes back to the way it was. Scriptable objects are not like that. Scriptable objects will keep the change in data when you go into the run mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and create a UI element. We're going to show this. We're going to create a text element. Okay, we'll go ahead and Control D on Windows. Command D on Mac. We're going to create another one. We're going to move it down. Okay, so here we got these two text objects, right? Save the scene. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in our quest component script. This is just for demonstration purposes. Let's see. Quest component. It's not there. Here. Quest component. Okay, we'll go here and we're going to create two text fields. And we'll do text1 and public text field text2, and it's going to give that issue because we need it in the using energy.ui, and then we'll come into here. So what we're going to do, we're going to show you something really neat. So let's go ahead and do, we want text2 to equal quest log dot quests index 0, the very first element in the array. We want to, in the list, we want to do that, and we want to get its name and set it to quest2. Okay, we got to do text2. It's going to be dot text. All right, so we're going to come into here, and now we're going to set the quest name to text1.text. So what's happening here? Errors, that's what's happening. Okay, now let's see what's happening here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take text2 and we're going to set it to the quest name that we gave it, and then we're going to reset the quest name to what we have in the first text. And I'm going to show you something neat. That data will persist. So we're going to come into here to new quest log. And we're going to give it a new quest. Once it's done compiling. Right here. So we're going to give it a hunt quest. We want the hunt quest name to be Alpha and Omega. We're going on Alpha and Omega is the name of the quest, okay? So we're going to come on to the quest object. We're going to give it text1. I'm going to give it text 2. So essentially what that's going to do is when I press start, this is going to be set to Alpha and Omega, which is the name of the quest. And nothing is going to happen to this one. But this is going to be set to new text. Okay? So we're going to hit play. Load. Bam. So now in here you have new text and Alpha and Omega, right? This is an object in the scene. It's set to Alpha and Omega. This is set to this has been set to new text, which is supposed to, but when you exit play mode, the data reverts back in the scene for the text object. But it doesn't for the quest that you created. That's because when you modify data on a scriptable object at runtime or in the editor, that data will persist. It's very, very important that you understand that. So when you go into here and you're trying to test values for whatever reason, if you modify the scriptable object, you're going to modify its data completely. And it will persist through. So that's something that I want you to understand. However, it doesn't whenever you build it. And I'm going to show you that real quick. So if we go in here and we set the name back to alpha and omega, okay? We're going to do this. Save the scene. It's alpha and omega again. We're going to go into here and we're going to build the project out. Before that, we're going to go into the quest log editor. Hit Control A. Click in here, Control A. Or Command A if you're on Mac, Control A if you're on Windows. And then go up here and just comment it out. Okay? And then we'll Control S will save. Alright. The reason we're doing that is because whenever you go to hit build, if you have an editor that's not in the editor folder, it's going to go and just, it's not going to compile. It's going to give you errors. So wait for that to go ahead and quit, go save and load. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to go into here. I'm going to go File, go to Build Settings. Make sure your scene is as one of the builds. And then we're just going to build it. No big deal. And then we're going to do build and run. I'm going to go ahead and give it a folder. I have a folder in here called builds. I'm going to select the folder. We're going to wait for it to build. When it's done building, we'll go ahead and run it. So wait for it to build and run, build and run. There we go, building the resources folder. Okay, so basically what's going to happen is when we run it, it's going to change the bottom text to alpha and omega, and then we'll close it, and we're going to run it again, and it will change it back to alpha and omega again, meaning that it didn't keep the change. So now we're going to wait for the little prompt to come up so it'll run. Okay. Got it, you got it. Alright, it popped up on my other screen. So here it is. We're gonna pop it up here. 19, gonna do this, and we're gonna do play. Here we are, made with Unity, all nice and pretty. It's gonna show alpha and omega. Okay, so that worked. Now, based on the code we wrote, you have new text, you have alpha and omega, correct? Okay. So initially this was supposed to change your scriptable object name to new text. So go ahead and hit Alt F4 and it'll just end it. Go into wherever you have the folder at on the computer that you saved it to. I'll open it up. I'm going to go to that builds folder and I'm going to run the application again. So it's in the top. There's a folder I have. Up and then tutorial builds. You can see over here I got this folder, and then here's the script that built. We'll just run it. We'll run the executable. Here it's going to pop up with this. We'll go ahead and run it again. Now if we were to go run it in the Unity editor as we did earlier, it would have just popped up new text and new text. It wouldn't have changed at all. Alpha and omega wouldn't have been there anymore on the screen because we changed the data in the scriptable object. But here, it's going to show alpha and omega again. So keep in mind that at runtime, within your build, your scriptable object data, you can change and modify all you want. It will not persist between application close and start. So if you want to be able to have a player's data as a scriptable object and you want it to persist into the net when you close the game out and load the game again with his values he had before, like player HP and stats and everything, you have to save it a different way. You can save the scriptable object in a different format if you want to use JSON, if you want to save it to a file, if you want to save it to a resources folder, like however you choose to do it in your project, that's you. But you do have to save it externally. The scriptable object doesn't save it for you. So we'll hit Alt F4 again, close that, and then we're done with that altogether. So in here you have alpha and omega, you hit play, it's going to say new text, alpha and omega. There you got your alpha text, you got your new text, your alpha and omega. This has been reset to new text. Now if I come into here and hit play, it's just going to stay as new text. It's getting overwritten, but it's the same string, so it's not going to do anything. But notice that. So that's something to keep in here as well. I believe there is a way you can go around that, if I'm not mistaken. Like this is set to the name. What you would have to do is, I believe you create a clone of it. So that would be one way to do it. I believe if you do clone full object. No, it's not clone. Okay. Maybe if we set dirty to false. Check that. Set dirty. Oh no, that's okay. So yeah, that's how it would work inside the Unity editor and everything. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you, is that, you know, you can go ahead and do whatever you want inside of these scripts. It's a lot of fun doing the inheritance thing. It's just, there's a lot of stuff you got to be cautious of when you're using scriptable objects. The data will persist between each play and edit, whether you enter play mode or not. If you want data to be saved once the game is built, then you'll need to find other ways of saving and loading data. You can use the scriptable objects and save the data out, but when you load it back in, you'll have to give that scriptable object that updated data, because it won't save it for you. So that'll also help when you do screen persistence, like when you do a screen load. So whenever you go in there and you do a new scene and you create, whenever you switch between one scene and another, all the assemblies and everything get reloaded when you switch between scenes. However, this data in the scriptable object will persist. So, matter of fact, what we can do is, let's go and create a new scene. And we'll name it sample scene 2. Alright, we'll do that. And then we'll come in here. Then we'll do, let's see, how do we want to handle this? So we got a new quest, we'll keep it as alpha and omega. Okay, there's your alpha and your omega. So if we come into here, we want a quest object. Let's just prefab this. We'll just prefab it out. Quest. Bam. Okay, and then we'll just set this to none. Take it out of there, and then we'll take these off. We're just gonna prefab it like that. Deal. Gonna do instead a new prefab. Alright, so prefab's not gonna have anything in it. We'll just save it like this, okay? So then what we'll do is we'll open up the next scene. And we'll do a canvas. Same thing as we did the other time. We're just gonna do a canvas. With text that I add the canvas for us. Control D or Command D to control that. We'll drop it down. There we go. And we'll go ahead and here, and we got a quest prefab. We'll drop into the scene, and it's got this. We can actually go into here, quest log, and we'll make sure we bring it into here, and then we'll reference text 1, and guess what? is the exact same thing. This data is going to persist, and I'm going to show that to you right now. So we're in scene 2, right? Okay, it's alpha and omega. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into, we're going to do just a quick script. Use. It'll be a model behavior. We'll just come into here and just be like, oh, it's still compiling, still compiling. It's thinking. Quite a bit. We'll put it on the, okay, and then we'll do load scene. There we go, load scene. Okay, so then we'll pop into here and we'll do load scene. Okay, and then we'll do on start. Oh, you know what? Let's not do this. We don't need that. I do apologize. Move component. We'll go into here. Quest log editor. Quest component. Because this is just for demonstration purposes. So it's been set, right? After it sets, we're going to go into here. We're going to do application. No, I think it's scene manager. Yeah. Scene manager. Oh, there's no less. Load a scene. Let's see. Load level. And I do a name. Do a name. We're gonna name it. We know the name of it is sample scene. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Application.load levels obsolete. Use scene manager. That's what I was looking for. Scene manager didn't populate. Scene manager. Okay. Manager. Oh, that's why it wasn't popping up. Didn't have the namespace. So it'd be scene manager.load level, and then we'll do this. This, management, this. All right. Oh my goodness, what now? Not contain a definition. Well, then what does it contain a definition for? It's seen by name. Gotta be a load scene. Load scene. There we go. We're gonna get there. All right. So we know the name of the sample scene. So we know right now we are in. Clear once it builds. Okay, save the scene. So we know that scene is called sample scene. Okay, we know that's gonna run. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna run this component, and remember, it's gonna change this to new text. Okay, it's gonna change it to new text. And then so it's gonna go in there. It's gonna change it to new text, and we know that. And then on quest component start, we'll reset it every time. So let's see how this is gonna work. So when we do this, it's gonna set it to here. And yeah. Because when it goes into the next one, oh, I know what to do. I'm gonna make so like um Right, so when the quest is started, it's going to say alpha and omega, text, load sample scene. Text 2 is going to say, so, okay, so yeah, to verify it, we need to do, so I need to, yeah, change this to like all this. Okay, we'll do that. And then we'll save it. This is how we're going to be able to verify. Because if it loads, you're not going to be able to see the change. So we'll go to scenes, we'll load scene 1, change this. We got to make sure this has the correct stuff in it. We'll make sure. We want this to say, okay, so this is what it currently says. Okay, this is what it says. That's not going to say that when we load. Come into here. And go this. Bam. Alright, so now this scene is set up, and so is the other one. Okay, so here we are with a new text, and it says new. New text. Okay, no big deal. That's just because it doesn't fit. So no big deal. So we know the other one says ADDS and letters. This one says new and a bunch of letters just because, and we can do this just to show you. That is not what I want to do. Control Z. Like that. Okay, see? This is what it says. So I know when we click play, this is going to be set to alpha and omega. Alright, so this is going to be the result and what we're looking for. This is going to be set to alpha and omega. This is going to be set to new text. When the new scene loads, the top one will say new text, but the bottom one is going to say new text too. It's going to be overriding the SD. So, here we go. It's going to run it, and it's going to load. It's going to be quick, so you're just going to see the new screen load. And then it'll just say, boom. So it's going to load. The quest name is going to change to new text. And then test 2. Okay. So there you go. So sample scene was loaded, just like we wanted. Quest name new text is now set to new text. And this was updated to new text. So in the last scene, so in scene 2, we said, okay, make text 2 alpha and omega. Now set the quest name to text. Okay, load the scene. We're going to load the scene. It's going to come back in here, call this start, and it's going to say, okay, set text 2 to the quest name. It's now new text. And then set it to new text. And then load sample scene 1 again. And then there you go. It just set it to new text. And this stays as new text. Now when I close this, look, it stayed as new text. So this is something I just want to show y'all. Like the data also is augmented and changed to the point to where it will carry over between scene and scene. So this is very important if you're trying to load a level and your player wants to carry all his stats to the next level, it's okay. Because when you update the data, okay, inside your scriptable object, you know, it will keep over to the next scene. So that's what's great for keeping data. So instead of using don't destroy on load for objects or for a player object, no, you just make his stats a scriptable object and have the player reference the scriptable object, and it'll stay between every scene. So I hope this tutorial was really well for all of you. I enjoyed making it. I really do enjoy spending a lot of time in Unity and playing around. When I understood what you could do with scriptable objects, it was mind-blowing to me, and I couldn't really get a really good answer from anyone on YouTube or online about how to do inheritance serialization to actually show in the inspector, but this is a great way to do it with the editor tools and using scriptable objects. And a great way to show how to get the point across that you can scene change and still keep data. Data will change at runtime and in edit mode. So that's something to be careful of, but at the same time it can be really powerful. And in builds it will change between each scene. Your data will persist between each scene, but it won't save between application reloads. So when you close that, and you leveled up your player to a level 100 and you closed it and you saved your game, but you didn't save out your scriptable object, when you load that new game and you go to reference that scriptable object again in your new, it's not going to have the save data because you didn't actually save the data in a different way. You actually just change the data in the scriptable object, but that doesn't carry over between application load. Only scene changes. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I enjoyed making the video. Please let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in the future for more things in regards to scriptable objects, C# and just in general, Unity in general. It was really fun. I enjoyed this, and I thank you all. And all of you have a blessed day. Thank you so much. Yeah, all right. Bye.